I want to make sure I didn't accidentally get this person's video in my video because I was playing something on the TV and I want to make sure the sound didn't track. Okay, good. I was getting really worried there. So I had a stomach ache this morning because of some stuff I ate, and that caused me to cancel doing the stream as I was doing. So I started for like 2 minutes and just said, "No, my stomach is hurting too much." And then I go back to the bathroom and finally take care of business. And then right after I finally get past the stomach ache, my internet starts acting up. So like the connection is like we're not able to locate the. It's like wow. So first your stomach acts up, and then your internet acts up. They work in tandem. Oh my god, because the internet's been acting pretty decent for the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I'd say. So that's why I was a little surprised by the way it decided to depict itself. I wrote a script. I'm probably not gonna do it, as in make the video until tomorrow or sometime this week because I have a person who's coming over, and usually when they're here, I'm a lot less inclined to actually make something like to what do you call it, sit down and edit it and whatnot. So I probably won't finish it until this week, like just at some point during this week. Where's this thing? Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I have my settings adjusted correctly and all the rest of that good stuff. I hope the person who's greeting me is hitting the like button. Yeah, that would be really nice. I probably would prefer that to a greeting if he actually clicks the button because a lot of people act like touching that thing is I don't know going to give them cancer or something. It's really tough. So I really hope that person who greeted me hit the like button. That's my biggest hope. I'll pray. I'll become more religious if he actually does that. So I was talking to my best friend yesterday, just about a lot of different stuff because me and him have these like wide-ranging discussions. That's a thing that happens to me and a lot of people like speaking to that we can just discuss various things. And I told him about you have like these guys on YouTube who get angry to the point where they're like writing paragraphs, or if they're not writing a whole bunch of stuff, they're just continuously pestering you about you not wanting to waste your time with a bunch of chicks that don't like you. And he was saying that there's like this adage, right? You know those tropes, the stereotypes of the woman that believes she can change the guy, like some guy that she is like I guess interested in, but knows has these very undesirable traits, but because she thinks he's attractive, she'll like put up with it and thinks she can make some big shift in his personality. He said that's what like the guys on the computer are to me. They think if they just like keep trying to say something, I'll change for them. Oh my god. All right, I'm music feed. I'm gonna have to delete that. Either you can delete it yourself or I'll delete it. I don't we don't need free advertising for another person that talks about this topic. If he's so good, go watch him. I'm really tired of every time I do a stream, I have to watch this man's name be thrown in here out of nowhere. So if you want to watch him, by all means go to his channel. I even said this on the stream I did about free advertising. That's why I can't get any bigger because the larger people are having their stuff promoted on the smaller person's channel. Makes no sense. I'm gonna go to AEW while they're doing their wrestling matches and put a WWE sign in the background. It's just a suggestion, sir. Come on. Like, what would I look like? And that's why I give these examples. If I went to the Young Turks comment section, I go, "You need to watch Kyle. Check out Kyle. Go to Secular Talk. He knows what's up." It's like, well, are you implying that the person that you're commenting on the video of doesn't know what's up? A suggestion. But that's why I suggested if he's so good, go watch him instead. Banana says, "Yo, I know that your merchant position is actually a black market, so you're going to prison for all those illegal bananas that you sell, and you know the ones that you inject all kind of different toxins and whatnot into. They have the little Superman logo on the wrapper. I watch both. Why are you being so flippant? Again, I'm tired of doing a series of streams on this topic that are accompanied by a bunch of guys talking about someone else that they like so much on the channel of a person who discusses the same thing. Like, I don't know why you guys turn into billboards when it comes to this man. When did he become the main character of romance? It's like people talk about wrestling all the time and they never mention like certain people just out of nowhere. That's why I gave the examples that I was talking about. And it didn't used to be like this. It's only in like the last maybe 6-7 months that people started doing that. At the start of last year, before that, the year before that, never heard of this guy. And even though people will occasionally mention other people that discuss this, it was more varied. Like they would say, hey, there's this person, that person. Without mentioning his name, have you seen this guy's content? Yes or not? I'm genuinely, well, I follow the doctrine set by David Pakman when it comes to when you discuss something, you don't watch people who discuss it as well. If I make content on this, I don't really, like that's the difference between me and people who watch it. I don't go around surfing the web for anybody that talks about it. So no, I haven't. I've had people give me vague descriptions of his stuff. The closest I came to seeing any video he made was when someone posted a clip of him. I can't do that. It's bad for business. There's a lot of stuff that's bad for business that people do. I never thought I'd see the day where you have like this one guy, this one individual, and people are like so enamored with him that they bring him up on stuff that has nothing to do with them. And it's that same person over and over again. He really is the main character of romance. Oh my God. I'm gonna start doing that where like people are just gonna be streaming about something. And I'm gonna come on and be like, you need to watch Jim Cornette. Like every wrestling person just talks about wrestling, right? I'll just go into their little like stream, be like, have you watched Jim Cornette? It's like but with romance. Well, I don't watch that person either. All I know about him is he's a I think a retired basketball player. Now, this one person like that guy, he checks women and tells like, but I already know they're ridiculous. Why do I need to see somebody sit there and talk to a person that I already know in general doesn't make any good points and just is ridiculous? What? Like, thanks for showing me proof to reconfirm my bias towards these people and their lack of logic. I know, but what would I get out of selling bananas on the black market? Not worth the risk. I'm just a simple merchant. Are you really done with non-binary Canary? That's over? Is that name retired? You're gonna do like Martin Luther King and his dad did, where they were both born Michael King, and then his dad changed their names after he went overseas or something, where the name just stops being used. No, I still go by Canario. That's another one of your aliases. Now this stuff really will drive anybody nuts. What was I gonna tell you? Yeah, we already talked about the video, you and I, during the stream on, was that Monday? Yeah. I just think it's really sad. Just the stuff in general. It's really, it's like a combination of being sad and also ridiculous. Like I'm contemplating. There's this person who about a week ago was like lashing out at me in some private messages on Discord, and at one point she mentions this commentator that I listened to, was like, this person is uh all these different things that she, like, says that he is, and she cites her disliking of this person as a reason for why she is not interested in speaking or some kind of thing. I'm just thinking to myself, here's a person who out of her own mouth says, you don't do the things this person does that I don't like, but I'm still upset with you over this other person's actions or the fact that you watch them. And I was going to talk about how a lot of people, when they glamorize romantic relationships and just relationships in general with chicks, they always pretend like they're these angelic, great people. And it's like, here's one who's literally trying to control what I watch. You can't watch this person if we're going to speak. What the hell with you? So are you out of the dating game for good? I mean, if you really are confused, like, you can go watch that video I did on the woman that asked me on a date and then reneged. I felt so frustrated because it's like, they start all the sexual stuff, and like your sole crime is reciprocating, and then they start pivoting. Oh well, I only like you as a friend. It's just like, oh my god. Just to give you a warning, 559. Okay, I don't know what that is. So 559. Just as a warning, the next time you do a stream, I'm gonna actually have somebody come in there and tell them to subscribe to my stuff. I'm gonna start having my own free advertising. Except it's not gonna be free because the person actually gets paid to do that in that scenario. Just have some, like, 5 people just go around the whole website, just posting my link everywhere. Like, this is why I listen to this person. You can just refer to me. Oh, okay. I didn't know what title you. Everybody changes their name every 2 or 3 months. Yeah, I've thought about that song a lot, but it just really pissed me off because I'm very serious when I say I don't actively seek out chicks anymore. I don't go if I see any at a store or a market, I don't say anything to them. So that I have, when I go and speak to them online, it's always platonic. And then this person, shows interest by giving me their number, show me what they look like without me asking for it, ask me on a date, and then that you still end up getting the same result as you would from asking someone out. It's like, it's the same situation. It's the same end result, no matter what you do. I always find it so funny when people are like, "You have no confidence," and I would see these. Like, I was just thinking about that with the situation with her ended, where she like, I called her and then she had her mom answer because she had said before that she was afraid. It was like, how are you gonna say I have no confidence, but then you have a woman who's such a coward that she has to get her mother to answer her phone? Like, does that look strong? That's tough. That's what an adult would do. Again, I always say reverse the genders. If if some woman that I met online was calling me and I had my dad or my mother or I don't know what other relative answer, and this came out on here, I'd be called a pussy. They would say, "Look at that spineless coward, having to hide behind his dad or his mom after he goes and tells this woman all this stuff about how much she means to him, and then reneges and pisses her off." So I said they can get away with everything. Oh, that's a woman child. I don't know what that is. Well, it might be that, but it's also a waste of time. And like I said, they love doing that. It goes back to toxic masculinity. No, it goes back to double standards, where people will just trash you for something, and then if the does it, it's okay. They always give that one side a pass. I just think it's so messed up. Toxic masculinity. I don't even know what that means anymore. Like, it seems as if anytime you kind of like push back on something that people say, they refer to it as that. I don't know, just in general, it seems like normal stuff that people used to do is like bad. Like, you are only trying to get with a woman because you want to get screwed. I'm like, well, if women didn't want to get screwed, why do we have all these single mothers with kids? Like they didn't just hatch those kids like King Piccolo, they didn't spout an egg. So clearly they enjoy it as well. But nobody will ever tell them that when they're lusting after some man on some website that, oh, it's because they find him attractive and just want to bang him or whatever. Oh no, they like him so much for his personality. Not too late this time, haha. No, in the video that's coming out this week, I have this screenshot of this one guy's message where he tries to assert that modern relationships are better because they're now focused on emotional capability instead of necessity. And I'm like, dude, if people actually cared about meeting emotional needs and all this other fluff about who someone is as a person, then what the hell are they doing on websites like Tinder or any of these other dating apps? Are you kidding me? Emotional needs. Yeah, I have the screenshot. It's gonna be in the video. It's gonna be the first image of the video because it's like a prologue and then it gets brought up later to be made fun of. People just write a lot of just ridiculous stuff about this topic. That's why I said that like you don't even have to be a smart person to address a lot of the stuff that's written. You just have to like try to show some level of fairness and really just remember that a lot of times when you're asked to be empathetic toward women, you know that you wouldn't receive the same empathy or even anything close to it if the situation were reversed. Hard coping is what a lot of those guys are doing. Oh, I mentioned in the video, it's like when you sit here and start telling me that the past sucked and modern relationships are better, but then I'm seeing a bunch of guys making groups about getting rejected over and over. That's just you're coping by trying to retcon the past into being worse than today. When if it were, you wouldn't have you would have had these groups back then if that actually were the case. I just don't trust people who say I'm attracted to someone who is independent and confident. It's usually a red flag that they're a toxic person. Independent and confident. I tell you that, like, I always love it when they start saying the like self-fulfilling prophecy, and if you don't believe in yourself, then nobody will love you. And all because it's like the first chick I ever approached, I knew for 5 years, and I was entirely convinced she would reciprocate because gave me her phone number. We used to speak all the time, or at least regularly. And then still got rejected anyway. So like when they do the thing about, oh, if you believe this will happen, it'll happen. They're trying to like say that mind over matter makes a difference, but if you actually think about, you have to believe a view like that, you'd have to assert the idea that in every instance where I approached somebody I thought it wouldn't work, which was not the case. Agree with again with a very relatable title you've titled the stream. Also, keep in mind that it seems that being straight is oh, that's still coming. Still have that video script sitting in Google Docs. No, I was just thinking about like the reason the title is the way it is because of this just a couple of these chicks from like this year alone. That's the screwed up part. You don't even because I very much have kind of stuck to my guns with the metaphorical sense of I don't approach anymore, and like chicks still do crazy ridiculous things. Like when I did the video on why do women with boyfriends like talking to me, it's not a coincidence or just like a thing that just happens that you'll talk to one of them for like 2, 3, 4 weeks almost every day, and then oh, by the way, I just now remembered that I'm with somebody. No, they purposely don't tell you that they have one for as long as they can or for a considerable amount of time because they know that you would be less incentivized to talk to them. Some of those little like slick, subtle, devious things they like to do. No, there was one I mentioned it on Reddit with the R4R where they have female for male, where it's chicks that are supposedly looking for a man. There was a broad that did that who had a boyfriend. I was like, why are you on a? Oh, I like having male friends. They love doing that, where they just pretend to be interested. That's why I had to highlight that point in my comment on your video. Yes, so many of them do that. Like they'll. God, that could be a whole video in and of its own, just all the different instances, or one of them pretended to be single or held off mentioning this man that they were or pretended to have a man, as was the case with one of them, if you remember that person. No, they love doing that. A couple of months ago, I mentioned a woman who said something to the effect of, when I stopped speaking to her, oh, I'm still willing to speak because I had made the decision to stop talking to her because I was tired of just speaking to this person where it wasn't going anywhere. And I had mentioned how this same person on 6 different instances stood me up for a phone call, which is I've never seen out of all these different chicks anyone that's done that, where they just keep scheduling calls to miss them. And this is how it plays out. I want to talk to you. Oh, cool. We can talk on Monday. It's Monday. You call them on Monday. Oh, I can't speak. But we can talk tomorrow. It's on Tuesday. It's Tuesday. You call them. Oh, I can't talk, but don't worry. We can speak on Thursday. It's Thursday. You call them. Oh, I can't make it, but don't worry. We can talk on Saturday. It's Saturday. You call them. Oh, I can't make it, but we'll talk tomorrow. It's tomorrow, Sunday. Oh, I can't do it. I have this thing that came up. Well, we'll speak next Tuesday. It's next Tuesday. Oh, I can't make it. I've got this thing that just happened. Or that she didn't say anything with that. But do you see how insane it is? That's how it was. It was literally this person keeps scheduling to have a call with you. You meet the schedule, and the person keeps not doing it. And look, you can say stuff about opinions. This is weird. Like that was very weird. I've never had a single person, whether it's a man or a woman, over and over again schedule to have a call and not make it. No other person. That sinks into like new levels of just Twilight Zone strangeness, So with this person, they schedule to have a call 6 times, don't make it. You start trying to like speak to them and they go, oh, I do want to talk to you, but I have all these other things that are going on. Like, well, okay, but then what am I supposed to do? And so then they progressively stop responding to your messages, like when you're trying to talk to them, and they apologize. Oh, you've been so considerate, and da, 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 da. And then after they don't respond to you for like 2-3 months, and look, some people will say, oh, just get the message, this person's going to talk to you. But if a person doesn't want to talk to you, wouldn't they just say, I don't want you to contact me? Wouldn't they say I'm interested? Like, wouldn't that be something a person who doesn't want to talk to you would do? But anyways, for about 2 months, I hear nothing from this person, even after I send them an email. So I called them from a block number because, again, I haven't heard. I don't look on their social media because I'm not about to sit here and try to revisit that. And they answer like on the first ring of being called from this block number. Think to myself, you'll answer a block number before you answer the person who you called considerate, who you apologized for not having a call with 6 times, who you said you wanted to speak to. I still have the screenshot of that. And people are like confused as to why I get sick of chicks, like why I don't like speaking to them. Because remember, this wasn't even romantic. This was just having a phone call with somebody. 6 months, no call. So all that stuff, I want to talk to you, and it was all lies. Because there is no way in hell that if someone I wanted to talk to scheduled to have a call with me, it would take 6+ times for them to have that call, except not really, and I would just abruptly stop speaking to them. Why couldn't that person just say, I don't want to talk to you? I mean, James, I literally have a broad who blocked me on Instagram because I said I wanted to speak to her. Like me saying I want to speak to you was that was a block worthy offense. So I'm apparently it's like really tough for them to just type the one sentence of I'm not interested. Like it's like pulling teeth. You caught her red-handed, dude, answering an unknown number, but she wouldn't have a single call with you. If you send her a text message, she won't answer. If you call her from your actual number, she won't answer. Just like a complete douchebag. And remember, this isn't someone that I cursed out or we stopped speaking on bad. This is someone that claimed they wanted to talk to me for months and just wouldn't answer the calls that they scheduled to have. They really act like basic communication is an inconvenience. It's like, yeah, but I even said this to the broad that I was talking about a little bit earlier. It's like, no wonder men can't get a date. They can't even have a phone call. They can't even, like, somebody can't, no wonder they can't meet them at a restaurant or a movie theater. They can't even meet them on a device that's with them at all times, usually. Oh my God, what is wrong with chicks? Like, what the hell? Stood me up 6 times. I've never had any. That's why I said this year has been like unprecedented with some of the ridiculous stuff with chicks. Like, I've never had one sit there and like schedule to have calls and then keep missing it like over and over and like 6 times. I've seen people who miss 1, 2, but 4, 5. No, first person ever. Just like with the one that asked me on a date. I never thought I'd see the day that somebody would ask me, and we have the screenshots. You can go watch that video if you don't believe me. And then you get the same result from that person asking you on a date as you would from asking somebody on one. Oh my God. And remember what Triple H said? Oh, not Triple H. I get, yeah. What Triple L said, not the wrestler, not the person who actually accomplished something. I remember what Triple L said, eventually a woman of a higher caliber will start approaching you. So yeah, a woman approached me all right, and she did the exact same thing as the ones you approached, wasted my time and told a bunch of lies. They achieved a new level, a new higher level of buffoonery. Dude, it's crazy because I like throughout the entire year, there has not been a single woman I started speaking to for the purpose of trying to go on a date with. Not at all. Because I think they're a bunch of liars who just waste people's time. So like a lot of that romance stuff, like the thing with the broad on Instagram, for example, in the video, all engineered by her. And then with these other ones, it's like they're acting like really strange towards someone that just wanted to have a call. Dude, I had a broad last week speak to me on Discord for like 2+ hours on Monday and Wednesday. And then she says, oh, we'll talk again on Monday. And she does this thing where every like 2 or 3 weeks, she gets quote unquote depressed and then just starts ignoring you altogether. Like she admits she does this to a whole bunch. And I'm like, you don't think that's weird? Like there's something wrong with you? Like if you can talk to someone and have what you say is an enjoyable conversation with them, and then just decide next week I'm gonna ignore you for 7, 8, 9, 10 different days. You don't think that there's something wrong with the person like that? They don't have morals like that. It's not even about having morals. Like I don't do this to people. Like there is no one I've ever said I'm going to call this person and then stood them up multiple times, like just to never do it. Oh my god, they get away with everything. They're like that is crazy. But again, I expect someone who does want to talk to me to do that, not someone who says that I'm so considerate and I told you they blow smoke up your behind and then treat you like garbage. We can make a whole video with like all the different stuff they've said. Oh, you're so this, you're so that. I don't know. It just seems like they have like I try to be consistent. Um, Again, not toot my own horn, but I what I mean by that is I try to have like certain stuff I don't um, act differently on. And it really does seem like a lot of these chicks have like multiple personalities. Like I'm not even talking about actually saying accusing people of being bipolar because that's a condition, but just like when you think about the one that asked me on a date, you go from following somebody on both of your accounts and saying you're going to speak to them the next day after having an hour plus conversation with the person that you claim you like to then blocking them on both your phone and also on this website on an account where they didn't even try to contact you and then being afraid to speak to this person over the phone who's not cursing you out, who's not yelling at you, who's just asking why did you do this. You don't think that's weird? Just like in a span of less than 48 hours, you have just this big, complete 360 on how you on your the way you act toward that person, and how in your final conversation with this individual they claim to like you. So, like again, it goes back to the whole thing of it was all lies. I agree with you on many of them exhibiting multiple personalities. I told you that you would almost think they took Blitzwing from Transformers Animated and and made him multiply and turn into a bunch of chicks. Because that was Blitzwing's thing. He would he would change his head, and then it would be a different personality. The main one is like cold, the other one's hot, the other one's crazy. That's how the chicks are. They have like 5 or 6 different personalities for each day of the week. On Monday she's nice. On Tuesday she's avoiding you. On Wednesday she's trying to reconcile. On Thursday she's ignoring you. On Friday she's angry at you. Oh my god. It really is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. And like we have the screenshots to support how like very quickly. So that's the thing I hate about talking to them in calls because I don't have like I don't and I'm not trying to I don't want to record this stuff because then you start getting the territory of oh this was illegal and you're trying to put out information that is damaging. I don't want to do that, but I'm saying that that's one of the reasons I don't really like talking to them over the phone is that I don't have proof of a lot of the stuff they say. So it's harder. It's easier for people to like create fan fiction of what occurred. But like you can see from screenshots, this person says, I like you or some other thing that's complimentary. And then like a day or two later, just kidding. LMAO. And there are a lot of girls who think having multiple personalities and wildly fluctuating emotions is normal. Like they aren't nut cases who need therapy. But man, so many of them do that. Like, and a lot of times it doesn't even make any sense. Like, when I was talking about the dingbat with the baby and how she would curse out the guy that paid for the storage unit, which was where she would store her clothes. That's why it's called that. It's like, I can't. The reason that's weird to me is because I can't see a scenario where I have a significant other, like not even a wife, but just a woman I am with, who is providing a long-term financial assist by paying for a place for me to put all these different belongings I have, and I'm cursing that person out. Like I just don't see a scenario where I would do that. And at the same time also cheating on that person. Like it just doesn't seem to me to be something that would make any sense to do. But like I said, a lot of chicks just like that's why I said the frustrating part about when people say have money and women will like you is that they're admitting they're a bunch of gold diggers. And every time I see some financial stuff with respect to a relationship, it's always the man paying for the woman's stuff, and she still treats him like garbage. So there's no way in hell I would ever pay for for some bronze storage unit, and then I'm getting cursed out and cheated on at the same time. You must be out of your damn mind. So I said I'm so glad I walked away from that gold digger. What was that 5 years ago? Because who knows what she would have tried to get out of me. Oh my god! Every day for like a whole week. Can you give me this? Can you give me that? It's like, how about no? Just be confident. Yeah, I'm very confident that she took all his money. I think it's funny, like when they start talking about that self-improvement stuff, I don't know how it's an improvement or like, like evolving to have to be with someone who cost you to go into bankruptcy or to have less money. You know what I mean? Like I don't get how those two things go together. But this is what I was talking when I said that people say all these little like slogans, oh, women expand your horizons and all trash. But if you actually think about it, not really. Dio says hello. I haven't seen Dio in so long. He decided to go watch somebody else. It's like, I'm done with you. Oh, the Sim Zone said, my thing is, why even contact me to initiate and then don't want to speak? How is that even sane? Well, I mentioned the broad that, people are like, go approach women in real life, even, because they really believe that, like, I just became, like, I was like, oh, I like chicks, and then just instantly went on the computer. Like, they just completely phase out the, like, 5 year, 4 year period where it was always chicks in real life. But anyways, there was this one broad I went up to at the mall and asked her for a number, and she gave me her Facebook account. And then I contacted her on there, and she's like, I am too busy going to school and work to talk to you. So, and I was like, why the hell would you give somebody? And I mentioned this to the person from this week, and she said, "Oh, I know why she does that. She did that because when you want some man to leave you alone, you give him your information so he'll go away quicker." It's like, but that was a rhetorical question. That like I wasn't actually trying to make, and that still wouldn't even make any sense because then the person's just going to contact you on there. Like think about how insane this is, right? How much sense would it make? Let's say if Megumi can't, if I was a woman, right? Megumi comes up to me and he asks for my number, and I give him because she did use Facebook. That was a website she frequented. So I give him my Facebook because I want him to leave me alone, even though I know that when I give him that account, he's subject to say things to me on that account. You see how that's like an oxymoron? Like, oh yeah, we're gonna give you a way to contact us so that you can leave us alone. And there are women who just straight up admit they're gold diggers. You can't claim to be independent and then want to leech off of others. Well, hey, we talked about the equality myth. People want equality for women, but then it's men that are always approaching. It's men that are the ones getting rejected over and over again. It's men that are told to self-improve. That's equality, huh? The one side being instructed to do all these different tasks to get somebody to like them, but then the other side is like, oh no, they're good as they are. Now they would drive anybody nuts. Like I said, people and chicks have just they've really let chicks just rot their brains with some of the stuff they say. Would have made a bit of sense if she actually gave you someone else's Facebook instead of her own. Okay, yeah, for a scenario like that, but it was still her because she recognized who I was when I sent her a message. So, like I said, I don't think it made any sense. And when people try to like explain it, it still doesn't make any sense. But then again, the person who tried to explain it is the same one that wanted to control me and what I watched. So I guess it makes sense for a person who makes as little sense as to say something like that to make less sense when they're trying to explain something. Like it's all in line with that person's lack of logic. Now, whenever a woman tells you means something to her and she loves you and cares about you and all the, or it's all lies. Another replica of Triple L. We might as well just start like saying Lady Lacking Logic number one, Lady Lacking Logic number two. Dio says women don't love. We have to say some women because then they'll accuse us of saying all. No, and even though nobody here has said all. I can't wait for somebody else to do that. They love coming on my stuff and like typing the same like couple of lines. Women don't owe us anything. Like, who said that? Work on yourself. Oh, you want the woman to work on herself too? No, she's perfect in her own way. Can't show emotion. We're not allowed. Hey, I wish I could do that. Like have my brother on the screen be like, oh, he's perfect in his own way. He doesn't need to do anything. I'm gonna treat him the way you guys treat chicks. Even though so many of them have said all guys are men and nobody harasses them. Yeah. Well, because like we're people allow us to be spoken of with in generalizations, and then with chicks, they're all unique and so different from each other. Like all men have to be the same, which is why people will tell you that you can only get a girlfriend if you go to the gym or do some other extraneous thing they consider to be good or reasonable. But then like chicks get to you've seen overweight ones that have a boyfriend, you've seen ones that are skinny that have a boyfriend, ones that are famous that have a boyfriend, ones that nobody ever heard of, because they're allowed to be diverse. That no one gets upset with them over not being like every other person. When they complain about guys in general. Megumi, I always remember the one guy that was on my video and he said, you like he was trying to say I had no financial balance and no degree. And I was like, dingbat, you do realize that the majority of people don't have a degree, right? Like that it's actually that makes me a normal person. Like if you're going off of statistics, I'm more inclined to get a date by not having a piece of paper because most people don't have one. You see how like it goes back to that, like, and again, I brought that comment up a couple of times, like 10 flaws in somebody from a 12-minute video of them just sitting on a chair talking about this. Are the chicks gonna have to have a financial balance? No, they're all perfect in their own way. You have to be a millionaire. She doesn't have to have a pot to piss in. Oh my god! And then they wonder why relationships are so uneven. Well, Brandon, didn't you know I'm supposed to be? I guess maybe I'm supposed to be like the real life version of Luffy, where I just accomplish a bunch of monumental stuff in like these really tiny bits of time that like other people have taken larger periods to do because they're believed realistically to be things that it takes a long time to do. I had a person earlier this year who was trying to like make me, who in real life was trying to shame me for not being able to afford a 3 bedroom house with 3 bathrooms as a single person with no children or wife. Like that made sense to them to be something that I should be embarrassed over, you know? So I'm supposed to just like have some kind of, I'm supposed to be Superman. Next time I do a stream, I just have a red jacket and like a little J logo in the corner or something. And then maybe at the end of the stream I'll just fly off. Up and away. Who has $1 million so that a woman will talk to him? I do. Like it's so stupid. It's really a cartoon with some of the stuff they say. Because if I came on here and said, if a woman wants to talk to the great Justin, she needs to have a bank account and a college degree and have a 6 or 8 pack, I'd look like a lunatic. But again, for some reason, people are able to say that these are things that a woman needs remember, for these emotionally fulfilling relationships. She needs all this material position and shallow stuff for you to meet her emotional connection and needs and compatibility and all these other stupid words that don't mean anything. Okay, James says, how's it even possible? Buy a house with 3 bedrooms, really? No, you're supposed to be able to pay rent for a home with 3 bedrooms. Like you are supposed to, as a single person with no children, be able to afford a home. Like you're supposed to want to be able to afford a home with 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. That's why I said that. Like people don't even care. Like you're just expected. I had a guy who's in his 40s who was making fun of my chair, talking about, I'll have a chair look like that. It's like, well, I would hope in 20 years I wouldn't have one that looks the same as one I had literally half of my life ago. But okay. So like they actually think I'm supposed to be this figure with like sums of money that the majority of people my age don't have, and just have some kind of, again, God among men. Just do this and magically a woman will be interested to take you out on a date. Yeah. Do you know what's funny that like even if you had a 6 or an 8 pack, who the hell walks around just with their shirt off? Like if you look at some of the wrestlers who do have muscles, which by the way, a lot of times were because of steroids and other substances that they weren't supposed to use in the first place. If they put a shirt on, you typically can't tell. That's why when Stone Cold took his shirt off for like it was either last year or this year for his reality show, there were some clowns that were making fun of him. He's not as buff as he was 20 years ago. He aged. I don't know what that is. But you get what I'm saying, right? That like even if you had that, it still would be hard as hell to just go places and show that off. That's why I say it's dumb. Looks matter more than height, so it's not true. But isn't height part of looks? Isn't that one of the reasons why when I'm doing a stream talking about all the complexities of these issues, I have people spamming, how tall are you? What kind of clothes do you wear? What's your blood type? What's your sign? Where do you live? What's your favorite movie? Do you like long walks on the beach? Show off your 10-pack. I'm gonna give instead of a 6-pack, I'm gonna give them a 2-pack of middle fingers next time they come on my stream and try to tell me about all. And it's like, again, most of the people who write that stuff, you don't see what they look like. You know why, right? Because they don't have it themselves. I told you, man, like this topic is literally just a bunch of people taking like darts, which is like their opinions, right? And just throwing it at the wall and trying to see what sticks. Like no one thinks about what they're saying. They don't, like concede the validity that this is something that requires some kind of serious thought, like it's more than one factor, just say whatever. And then they're like surprised or shocked when you're like, all right, well, you're not really contributing to the conversation, so I'm not going to talk to you. Oh, by the way, have you noticed, James, that one guy that like every time I do a stream, he leaves some comment, like some weird comment? Have you noticed that? It's like it's that same one guy that every time I do a stream, he's like the only. It's like he's the only person that comments, and it's always something that is like a vague statement that doesn't even address what I say. He says, "I've seen guys who aren't tall are in yeah." I mean, like I said, if we have to really sit here and start naming every man that was under 6 feet that had a woman, that video would be 10 hours long. Like, I really hope it doesn't end up because, like, most people are under 6 feet. Oh my God! Anything they can possibly blame it on. And then the sad thing is, because people online will never meet me in real life, they'll actually be able to convince themselves I'm 5'1" or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever other number they think is befitting of someone that just gets tired of answering the same question over and over again. Like they actually get to live in that fantasy because they'll never meet me in real life. It's like if I said that this person that's messing with me has an actual tail, like Goku from the original Dragon Ball. I was like, yeah, I'll never see this person in real life, so I actually can promote that as being something that they actually have. I've even seen getting mad game just for acting. But yeah, that's why I said, man, all this stuff about appearance, just it's a waste of time. Because there are a whole bunch of chicks I don't think are pretty or hot or any of that, and they still get a boyfriend. So beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder. It's not worth it's just not something worth discussing. Like, do I think this person is pretty enough to be with someone? There's a whole bunch of chicks I don't think I'd ever want to get with on the basis of how they look or how they act, and they still have a boyfriend. So clearly, my opinion is not the one that is the end all be all. But that's how people on the internet like to act. If I as a man think this other man is unattractive, nobody will like him. Oh, here's this guy's comment. Justin, you need to adopt a growth mindset instead of fixed mindset. It's like, what? Can we get some non-nebulous terms for once? Like, that comment was a whole paragraph explaining what he meant. I wouldn't delete. Like, I didn't get rid of the other guy that was being confrontational. That was like in the actual video. He left a comment on that, and I didn't delete it. But just like they literally talk in riddles. What is a fixed mindset? Just have an abundance mindset. I have an annoyed mindset because I'm tired of reading this ridiculous nonsense. And remember the new nonsense that's having a resurgence this year. That's crazy. I did a stream with that title, and it's literally like it's life imitating art. Because again, never seen a woman before this year that will schedule have a call with you 6 times, then not do it, and then like vanish after that, while saying that she's going to try and do better, and like she recognizes that she had all this different stuff. It's like this truly is new nonsense. It's like new weird stuff that chicks are doing. Like between and then you have the broad that asks you on a date and like initiates all their romantic stuff. Just say, I just got really confused. Like you were confused for what was that 5-6 days? And then that bimbo wanted me to pay, wants somebody to pay for a surrogate because she's too scared to do something that millions of women have done before her, which is have a kid. I'm scared to give birth. Like, oh, well, I'm not putting up with that. It's always like a monkey's paw or some snack. Even when you find somebody that seems like they actually are going to do what you say, it was all lies. She used her sexuality as a shield too. Yeah, because she's confused about what she is. Because she was attracted to some woman that she was posting about on Instagram. I'm supposed to believe, like, I'm supposed to be okay with having had my time wasted. That is ironic that people on here will like accuse a man who can't get a woman of being gay, but then like there actually are multiple gay chicks I've spoken to on the premise that they were straight. like like you get how ironic that is. Like you're gay. It's like, oh no, it's not him. It's this person. You get why that's ironic. We like you spent so much time accusing the man of being gay just because he was having the same problem that a whole bunch of men are experiencing. That's why there's whole groups about this. And it's like there's gay people. It's just the women in this saga that are that way. Oh my god, that's happened like 3 times. And every time they always use their sexuality as a shield. And somebody will say you're being homophobic. Look, I only say something about their sexuality because it affects me in this scenario. If they want to be with another woman, I couldn't care less. It's just like don't sit here and play with me about I don't know what way I feel. So then go leave, go away. Dude, they love using those words. Like they always take the moral high ground. Dude, it's the same thing with Benoit. Where like somebody made it's some wrestling channel. It's got like 90,000 subs. They made a video of all the video games he was in, and I'm like just reading the comment section. Somebody says, "Why are you dedicating a video to a murderer? He should be forgotten." And like no one wrote this back. I'm thinking to myself, if he should be forgotten, then why are you looking up videos on him? Like, how did you get here if you weren't thinking about him? You were just on YouTube one day and then you got pulled into this video. Now they love the moral high ground. They always find like some way to make themselves look so great in comparison. I am forgetting a murderer by appearing on his videos and telling people they should do the same thing as me. I must impose my view on you as I express my moral high ground. People really do act that way on this website when they're like on a video of something they don't like with a lot of the romance stuff, right? It's like, do you guys just get dragged to my stuff the way you talk about it? And then when you try to turn the video off, it like forces you to watch. You can't exit out. And then if you try to break your computer, it reassembles back and it shuts the door with its cord and makes you sit in front of the screen and check it out. And you only are free after the video's done playing. Oh my god, there are so many people on this website that make content I don't like, and just it is not hard at all to not watch people on here. The only time it's a little bit difficult is if you talk to people who still like circling around watching those people you don't like. Truly is enough to say it is a cartoon. It's like a cartoon in a comic book. I lean more toward comics because cartoons don't really have retcons. Like people actually will try to change the past to make like a justification for something in the present or future being good or better than how it was before. Just go overseas, go to this random country, and there will be a woman waiting for you at the bus stop, and she'll like you and come back to the U.S. and live happily ever after. They have so many and it's like who the hell's gonna get a passport to go to a random country on the premise of a woman maybe liking them back? Just think how weird that would be if I told you, oh yeah, come to the US, man. There are all these chicks that are just standing around waiting for men to to like them. Dude, they make some of these other countries sound like some kind of horny version of Disneyland. Like, Jesus Christ. Just get a passport. and there will be a woman and she'll like you. Oh my God. Yeah, men forget about the language barrier. Yeah, I don't want to talk to somebody that I need to read like a whole Bible length book to have a conversation with. Because I have talked to some chick, like not for romantic stuff, but just like on websites. I've talked to some chicks who English is not their first language, and it is very obvious. They write little tiny sentences, um, and like the way they write stuff, it's broken up. Like I'm not even saying that to be funny, but just I really would not be interested in being with someone who I can't understand them. Like I don't even like watching shows in other languages, so I don't want to talk to somebody that speaks another language and needs Google Translator to have a dialogue with me. This is my wife that I can barely understand what she says. Say hi. Oh my God. Now people always discount the language barrier because that breaks the fantasy of like going to any just a random country and then a woman likes me and happily ever after. And do you really want to learn another language just to get a date? Like, do I really have to like be able to fluently speak Japanese to go to another country to maybe meet somebody to maybe get it? Like, again, juice is not worth the squeeze. So much effort for like the tiniest little shrivels of. You know what? But we'll actually make like a size comparison here. Um, Let me pull this thing out because I want to give it a little demonstration. Oh. So think of this pillow as like a metaphorical, like the amount of effort you have to make, right? Like this pillow is the amount of effort you have to make. And then think of this pill as the results that you get, like the reward that you get for that amount of effort. So you're doing this amount of effort for this result. Oh my, like think about it. Months and months and months of whatever, whether it's going to the gym or trying to become a millionaire, just to like sit at a restaurant or go to a movie for an hour or two one night with a broad that if she doesn't like it, never has to do it again. Oh my God. Does that look like something that's appealing to you? And Megumi, did you like that metaphor? That felt pretty accurate to me. Like all this stuff for just the tiniest shrivels of attention from a woman. It's really crazy. Try to get the keyboard too. Give another example of something. Good visual demonstration of this fruitless nonsense. Like I said, man, you could own every coin on this planet and you would never see somebody tell a woman she needs to get money to go on a date with you. Because again, they actually get positive reinforcement. They're told to double down on their on whatever decisions that they have made. Like I know a woman who in her early 30s lives with her parents and like people actually think she's someone and this person is also overweight and people actually say that this individual is like a high class woman and I'm like what like, wouldn't a great woman who's like of high quality be able to afford her own place, you know, like that's why I said it's so backwards. Let me be 30 plus living with my parents. I would get laughed at every time I came on here. People go, ha ha. But again, with chicks, they just get everything. Your chance of getting one will go slightly up 1% if you were to do all those things. I had a broad who admitted that if I switched out for contacts, which I wouldn't do because there's a higher chance of getting infections and just there's other factors that are involved with like not wanting those. But she actually said if I got contacts, I'd have a 2 or 3% increase in getting a date. She admit, and again, that's stupid because she doesn't know when I wear these or if the like, I already discussed why that's dumb because that you have to assume I'm always wearing these. But she admitted that even if that to like go and change the thing you used to see, which is not something you can just do overnight. It requires. It's not like to make this big change to your lifestyle that's like a daily basis part of thing. You're going to get a very slim higher chance of getting a date. Like she admits that's like that. It's like so why even bother doing it? An abundance mindset is good, but the dating market is. Yeah, it's horse manure. Oh my god. Tell you, people always find a way to just they justify everything for chicks. Having an abundance mindset only works if you have options. Yeah, chicks can have an abundance mindset because they always have options. Like I one brought in my video, stop acting like all women have a bunch of options. But if you have only 2 or 3 or maybe even 4, that still is way more than like a bunch of men will have. Like if they had options, they wouldn't go on these websites complaining about not getting a date. There was one woman's comment that I screenshotted, and I don't know where I put it, but it was like something like she said that was really. It was like, when are men going to realize it's okay for women to change their minds? It's like, well, it would be nice if you would just make a decision instead of like toying with someone for weeks or months or whatever. Told you haven't like that. This thing this past week really solidified why I don't want to have conversations with people who aren't affected by this. Because half the time they're either just laughing and giggling at your despair, or they're trying like they're saying things to justify why this has happened to you that are like really ridiculous. Wait, what? Yeah, that's why I'm upset. I don't know where the screenshot is because I wanted to do a video making fun of it and just kept forgetting to put it in something. I mean, if you have options, you have to have the abundance mindset. I understand what you're saying, Brandon Doe. They expect you to have table scraps and put up with their BS. I don't know what people expect. They want men to do everything and anything to appeal to a woman, but then she has to do nothing to appeal to him other than just exist. And then they get like so angry, and that's why I said it's so ironic that it's almost exclusively men that are upset with another man for not talking to chicks. Like, how weird would it look if a woman came on here and she said, I'm not going to talk to a man ever again? And instead of men saying, oh, please speak to us, please, we want to talk to you, it's women going, you need to do it. Like, you wouldn't think that was strange. Like, what? What does it have to do with you? What business is this of yours? Why are you so passionate about another woman's love life? Do you want to be her girlfriend? Like, what the hell? No, I showed that guy's comment about the growth and fixed mindset thing to my friend, and he said that him like what he's doing when they're like, and not even just him, but just men in general, when they're like trying to change my opinion or argue with me, it's like the woman who gets with the man that she doesn't like traits of, and then she thinks that she can change him. Like they parallel each other. Oh my god. That's not how it works. If I know I'm attractive and I have chicks show me interest every now and then, I'm gonna feel like I can be picky with who I want to date. I'll look for it again, Megumi. It's there's a whole bunch of just screenshots, like ridiculous stuff people say, and I have to just keep looking for it. I told you that every time you see chicks, they're all like, people will say, "Oh, chicks are single sometimes too," but it's like they always are able to just easily like. I'm starting to really think if they actually are single, it's just because something's wrong with them, and not because I think you have to be like mentally ill or whatever to not go want to date someone, but like I explain this. I mentioned in I think it was the I've been criticized for everything video. There was a woman I liked when I was in high school, and then she told me she couldn't go on a date with me because she was with another man, and I waited for her to get off of being with the other man, and then she instantly got with another person. And then it's like a common thing where chicks after becoming single, it will be like a very short time before they get with someone else. To where now it's like I have to question, why is this woman single? Like if I like this person a lot, they're either going to do one of two things. They either don't like you back and don't like any men back, which is why they're single, or I don't know, they're gay. Like, and I don't like making a generalization like that, because I get tired of people trying to say that men that are single must be that. But it's like chicks have so many options that when they reach a certain age and they're still single, I really do question like why are they this way? Why did they make this decision? Because I've seen so many of them, once they get done with one man, go to the next. That woman that had that baby with that guy, and I was talking about how like the guy smoked cigarettes and other stuff. Uh, right after she broke up with him, got with another man who she ended up having. She is literally the first woman I've ever seen to have two kids by two different men in like the span that she's not married to, right? Because again, I've seen people who have kids by different people, they'll get married the second time around, and like in less than like 6 years, like the other kid is still like a little kid while they have a kid by another person that's not their husband. Like it never stops. Oh my god. You get where that like appears strange, like when you know that they're able to just have usually any man they want. The fact that they're single is like a red flag. Like it makes you go, why is this person single? Hmm. Because with Triple L, that dingbat that was like trying to tell me to wait until 2090 for a date, she mentioned having two men try to marry her before she was 21. So it's like, what causes them to want to be by themselves? And if they are by themselves, does that mean you shouldn't even bother wasting your time trying to talk to them because they just don't want anybody? So that's what made me just like get more and more tired of it because there's too much weird stuff and second guessing, and even the ones that are telling you all the right stuff still do all the wrong end results. So that's how that goes. When they move on quickly, it doesn't take years for them to find someone, maybe a few weeks or more. Yeah. And no matter what condition they're in, they can have a kid by another guy. They can be. I told you that dingo with the baby. That person was no job, like just every terrible thing you can say, and they've like, oh my god, they get away with anything and everything. Chicks have so many options; they can move on same day if they want to. Well, some of them do have like multiple guys they're stringing along at once. Like they have this other guy just waiting in the back window. It's like it's not your turn yet, but don't worry, it will be soon. Chicks always have like that's what makes me really feel like that's again another factor in why I don't want to talk. Because what's the point of talking to somebody who has like 10, 20, 30 other guys talking to her? And even if it's not 10, it still is multiple other men you're competing with for a person that in general is not worth a can of sardines. Like, that's why in the video I gave the examples of like actual famous chicks that if people competed for would make sense because they've accomplished something that puts them on this big, totem pole is the bottom if you're at the top, but puts them on this like larger than life sort of like it makes sense for them to be highly sought after. But these are chicks nobody ever heard of. You're like, who is that? It's not your turn yet. Just wait in line. Yeah. Told you if I came on here and I saw 100 men trying to talk to Rihanna, I wouldn't have one issue with it because that would make sense. Accomplished singer that everybody's heard of, you know, it would add up. Another example. You know what I'm saying? If it's a famous woman, I understand it. But when it's some chick that nobody ever heard of and she has all these different men trying to talk to her, I don't believe I can't understand where that makes sense. And that's why I said the thing on Reddit was so disturbing because you have a phone number that gets posted, no picture. So it's not like, oh, this woman is so amazingly beautiful. Just a phone number, and it's said that it's a woman, and 50 men jump at it before you could even make your move. Absolutely insane. Love will find you when you stop looking. Oh, I've seen that spammed on here too. I would have been married a long time ago if that were the case. Because I know after that broad said, you're too good for me, and then it was like, oh, I'm not interested in you. I was all just, it was just this big waste of time. I was like, yeah, to hell with this. Waiting your turn doesn't make sense because they also say women make different rules for different people. Love doesn't exist. I think it exists. It's just too, it is like finding someone that actually cares about you is like looking for a needle in a haystack. And it's kind of funny too because we can actually make an argument that I think a lot of men actually care about the chicks they try to talk to, and then it's the chicks that are just like whatever. I don't give a damn about you. Just a flash in the pan. So it's just yeah, just love yourself, and then random chicks will like you too. I'll give you another 50 years before you find your love. I won't be alive in 50 years, so maybe I'll find one posthumously, huh? No, that's one thing I'm very sure of. I'll give you five. Oh, they've been singing that same song. That was it. Triple L said 2 years, 3 years ago. So it's like I don't take it seriously. People just say that they're like, oh yeah, this will occur at this point in time. I decreed it, so it will happen. Again, mind over matter is just a lazy idea that people use whenever they want to blame you for why something you say you didn't want to have happen happened. Because a person that approaches chicks over is not someone who wants to be single. But that's why I said that they don't like to actually think out the stuff they say. Really disturbing because you're aging and still haven't really experienced this part of what they don't care. But see, this is why I said that like people will get mad at you for saying like the thing with the hookers, but the point I made with that video was you can't keep denying someone something on the basis of, oh, chicks just aren't interested year after year, that there's a time and place for everything, and telling someone that they have to wait until they're 30 to go on a date. It doesn't make any sense, especially when they can just pay someone to do it with them and get like at least a semblance of what would happen if they actually went on one. But yeah, it is really disturbing, and they're doing this to a lot of people. So I'm not too surprised that I remember that I was like, I'm gonna have a nightmare where I'm like 90. It's like, this woman finally agreed to go on a date with me. She's 100, so she'll probably be dead by the end of the day. Oh my god, man. They've turned like they really have just turned being a female into being a god among men. Like all the chicks are like Moses or something. It's so crazy. They're all Jesus. And instead of 12 apostles, they have 12 men all trying to go. I think that's a big reason why we have so many. Overall majority of them don't care. Yeah, that's why they tell you to just don't say anything. Just suffer in silence. Let's just sweep this issue under the rug, and it'll go away. Because they like the illusion. They like to pretend that if you just try hard enough, a woman will like you. It's like you hold out hope over and over again that this will change, and then they keep playing the same stupid game. The excess and time wasting. And then that's why I said that chicks are more likely to have more relationships because men don't sit there and talk to a woman they're not interested in going on a date with for 2 weeks or 2 months. And so while you're stuck having to keep trying over and over again with a different woman, keep rebooting like a movie franchise, she gets to progress with the sequels and actually be with someone. Told you that thing about with the baby, that person was homeless, that person had no job, and she was able to even in that period have a boyfriend, and she didn't have to sign up for any stupid dating websites. She didn't have people telling her to go to the gym. Just was completely accepted for who she was. And people have the nerve and goal and actual audacity to say things are more fair or are fair or have any semblance of fairness. And that this is something worth competing in. A game where having a triangle between your legs means you win automatically versus having a banana and having to jump through a billion hoops for stuff that still isn't guaranteed even if you do it. Because as angry as you are with talking to a bunch of chicks and nothing happens, imagine how pissed off any man would be, right? If he goes to the gym, right, and exercises and then becomes wealthier to where he owns a mansion, all this other crazy stuff that people tell you to do, and he still can't get a date. Or if he does get a date, it's a gold digger or someone else that's trying to use him for. Wouldn't you be pissed if that's the result of all that hard work? Hope doesn't work. Dude, these chicks are so defective. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Yeah. People just come on here and they say what. That's why I said that this topic is literally people taking darts and throwing them at the wall and trying to see what sticks. That's why you have people who will analyze me from a stream or a video because I have to be a piece of garbage so they can justify it, even if it's happening to all these other people who probably have different personalities from me. That's why I don't like that I word group because the whole point of that group is you are a straight man whose love life did not go the way you wanted it to. So you must have undesirable traits. You're a piece of garbage because random chicks don't like you. If it was a woman who was online complaining about men after getting rejected, nobody would tell her there's something wrong with her. Because it would just be accepted that she's venting about her frustrations with her love life. You call women the B word, so you can't get anybody. Yeah, we know all the rappers they're all single. Happened to me right now. Went on a date 3 weeks ago. Chick had no time for me this weekend. F it, she can contact me. I'm not gonna. Well, even like I said, stuff like that happens because it's always the man who's more interested in the woman than she's interested in him. It's like you have the person who says they want to speak to you. You try to meet them 6 times for calls they pre-plan, and they don't do it. And you think that's fair? That's a person that's worth a moment of your time? Same thing with the one that asked me today. Gives me her phone number and her picture without me asking for it. And then every couple of days does the mood swing of I don't want to talk to you anymore. and that's someone that's worth talking to, that like is worth remembering and speaking of fondly. Yeah, it's all one-sided. This whole thing is designed to. That's why I was contemplating. I know people hate if I do a romance video that's edited. How men are like romance, how men are set up to fail because they want you to do 99,000 different steps for a bunch of chicks that don't have to do a single damn thing, and then they're confused that this stuff ends up being the way it is. That's what I'm saying. You can have all this stuff, but you're still not guaranteed to be in a relationship. Yeah. He said they had somebody explain it was a millionaire that once he had money and he trusted even less people. He was dating, got a lot harder for him because now they know he has money and so they feel cheated if he doesn't spend on them. But when he was broke, it didn't matter. Yeah, well, that's why I said that like men are set up to fail because no woman would be told that she has to be a millionaire to get a date or to be attractive to multiple. I actually have people who have said because I rejected a classmate in what was it, like 12th grade, that's like why I'm single. My standards. I was like, you would never see someone tell a woman, "Oh, you rejected this one man, so you'll be single for the rest of your life." You get why that's crazy? I don't know. It just seems like chicks can't do like anything with you unless they're paid to do it. Like, it's like I just have to accept the reality that if I ever am going to go on another date, it has to be with someone I pay to do it. You know, uh, it just seems like because there's a big difference between going on a date with someone and then having banging the person, but they've turned it into being like this overly complicated process to where you just want to cut out the middleman. I really don't like the sound of that reality. Well, listen, like you can get a lot of chicks that'll sit there and talk to you for some and it does suck. I'm not here to sugarcoat it, but when you speak to so many of them and they keep playing this game of every couple of weeks or months, oh, you thought I liked you? Just kidding. Let's be friends. And a date is like too much for them. Then maybe they do need to be paid to do something as simple as that. OnlyFans has made the pay thing way worse. Yeah, people pay to talk to a broad on the computer or to see her picture. It couldn't be me. I don't think you should pay someone to go on a date with. Well, I don't tell you how to do your stuff. Don't tell me how to do mine. Because I'd rather pay someone to do something than keep talking to a bunch of chicks that do the same thing of wasting my time and not giving me what I would like. Even if they claim they like you back, oh, but it's only in a certain type of way. Social media really should be outlawed. Watch the mass shootings lower drastically. Yeah, the shooters usually post stuff on like Instagram and not Twitter. It's Instagram and some other website. But that's like the main one where they're putting that stuff. I know just that men are expected to pay even though these women have their own money. Yeah. But if you don't feel like I should pay to go on a date, it's all about being tired of getting the same results. Like, what is the point of talking to a bunch of chicks who are going to sit there and gash about how much they like you and then never go to the step of going on a date? Why do you have to keep playing that same repetitive cycle? So it's really just an example of me losing my patience with a lot of this stuff. Like you can't. I don't actually enjoy being a hamster on a wheel with respect to this issue. So it's just a way to circumvent the scenario. The thing about paid dates, I think they need universal flat rates. I honestly don't like that idea, but I also feel on board with it too because of this excess of time wasting. Going through this same cycle of not getting what you want and your time wasted constantly. Yeah, like who wants to do this forever? Like, do you really want to be 30 online talking to a bunch of chicks who will sit there and tell you how important you are to them and then, oh, you want to go on a date? That's your fate, your future. Like, this needs to die. I'm not sitting on social media all day praising women that don't even speak back. I see guys do it and it's sad. Oh, I agree. Especially since if they like you, they'll actually private message you and just speak to you directly. Hell, they'll do that with ones they don't even like it. Like, you can't take anything with them seriously, man. That's why I said that it's impossible. Like, the only reason we can predict anything they'll do is because so many of them have done it. But before that, it's impossible to completely predict what they'll do. Like, we know the end result is always, I'm not interested, but you'll get that from people who will say, I want to talk to you. Ones one that asked you on a date, one that, like, just, they will do every and anything that shows interest. And then it's like, you get the complete, like, the worst possible ending. $100,000 for a date. There's so much I could do with 100 grand. Like, put my brother through school. I'll put myself through it if I wanted to go back. But there's a lot more productive things that could go toward outside. Like, for me, past $100 would just be like, yeah, I'm good. Like, we're willing to pay, but not that much. Yeah, he can get any chick he wants. During one of my videos, like one of my streams, I said that if it was like an Olympic gymnast chick, I would understand somebody saying you need to go to the gym. But to really just thinking about it, if I did see some woman that was like really famous or whatever, actually trying to speak to me on the internet or whatever, I probably would think it was a joke. I'd be like, well, I'm supposed to believe that after all these regular chicks ignore me, the metaphorical unicorn broad comes down and is like, I am interested in you. Yeah. It's sickening, but this is how bad things have really become with this. Yeah, and that's why I don't come on here trying to offer solutions, because I don't think, like, when you talk about the self-improvement stuff for men, you're just acquiescing to chicks' petulance. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're making it worse by allowing them to actually believe that, like, just having a triangle entitles them to all of this effort for something that still isn't guaranteed to you. A genuine guy just wants to go on a date with someone who shares a mutual interest in you too and possibly develop a relationship. So I said I don't understand why they made it so difficult, because if you don't want to do it, again, you don't have to. They act like once you go on a date with somebody, you have to marry them. No, people who have kids together don't even marry each other anymore. This just proves my point. You can have everything but can't get a date without paying her to do it. Right, but you said you don't think I should. It's like, I'm not trying to tell you what you can or can't do, so don't tell me what I can or can't do. Like, if I get sick enough of this situation and I know with a certain price I can alleviate it, I'll do it. Like, if I wanted to get banged, I wouldn't sit here and talk to chicks for for a year or five or whatever, just so one of them might maybe get in bed. I would just go to Vegas. Like, I don't see why there needs to be this excess of effort for something that I just don't think should require all of these, like, steps. I'm supposed to put up with the never-ending prologue. Let's get to know each other first. When super rich men have to pay a literal 403, like, what hope is there for the average man? That's why I said that, like, even famous men, if you notice, a lot of them will date chicks nobody ever heard of. And that, like when a woman dates somebody that's a famous woman dates somebody, it's usually somebody else that's famous. Again, there are exceptions, of course, but even if the man's not as famous, you still know who he is. Like it's so crazy that just even at the top, they're still struggling. They're like, "Ugh, let me get with this woman nobody ever heard of." I'm not saying they shouldn't, but it's just another example of how like even when a man has reached a level of importance that's considered bigger than the majority of his peers, he still will occasionally reach down and accept some woman that isn't anywhere near his status. So tired of that stupid word. Even though it's understandable and it sucks, but it's something you have to really consider, especially if you've been put through the ringer for such a long time, like years, even. Yeah, like the people who try to shame you or like get upset with you for talking about hookers, they want you to just continue this cycle forever. And that should be the most disturbing part to you, that they're like, oh no, don't pay the people who will do something you want instantaneously or within a short time of being paid. No, no, keep talking to the chicks that don't like you until 2,900 or whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna get off of here because we've gone for the usual standard time. Uh, Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. And like I said, I just can't take anything these chicks say seriously anymore, because even when you're not trying to have romantic stuff with them, they still lie. They still say one thing and then do the other. Like every day with them really does feel like April Fool's Day, where I can just expect the reverse of what they said to come to pass. I like you. That's why I'm blocking you. I want to talk to you. That's why I ignored your calls. You're special to me. That's why I haven't spoken to you in a year. Just it's a joke. They as a collective are nowhere near worth the effort that men put into them. And I genuinely believe if men stopped talking to them for just a week, you would see a big shift. But people are not coordinated to that extent, so it is what it is. Thanks, Megumi. Thanks, Dio. Thanks, James. Thanks, Sim, Brandon. Have a good rest of your Saturday.